Jeez.
Okay, you guys, I've just been getting in trouble from both of these two because we have so much juice behind the scenes, and Tiffany's like, shut up and press record.
Yeah, we've been talking for half an hour.
At least. We have so much to talk about. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show, to Raw Babes 101. Let's all welcome this beautiful, handsome gentleman, Tirone, to the show.
Thank you so much.
Tirone is the president, owner, and co-founder of Naked Organs. Naked Organs they have 3 products currently, and that consists of Bison Heart, Bison Liver, and the Bison Trifecta. And the Trifecta.
4, because we just launched just 2 weeks ago, a week ago, the pet food supplement.
You're right.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Dang.
Yeah, that's
Smart.
right.
That is so, we can't forget about our pets.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Good for you guys. Yeah. Sorry for that.
Okay.
4 products.
Yeah. Fuck, figure it out, Kristen.
Dang. Quick backstory here. We met Tirone and his beautiful family at MYM. And that was how many weeks ago now?
Ooh,
3 weeks?
3.
Has it only been 3 weeks? It feels like a year.
I know.
Because there's been so much going on in collaboration.
The integration after that event is like been insane. Like
it's so badass. Thank you, Sarah. We all love you so much for all these connections. So just to fill you guys in, on the day 1, we were in the VIP workshop, we'll call it. Yeah. And at the end of day 1 of VIP, we get introduced, and Tirone and his dad, Sean, and mom, Susie, come on the stage, and they're talking about all of these things. And here I am sitting there, and I'm like looking at Dee beside me. I was like, what product is this? And I'm like whispering over. And at the end, they're doing this draw and this giveaway. And as I'm like talking to her, I'm like, what are they giving away? I don't even know. And they're like, Kristen Talworthy. And I'm like, I was like losing my mind. And I go up to the stage and I get this beautiful gift basket or bag. Yeah. And inside are these products. And I have this badass hat.
Yes.
And I'm like, what is this? And then I'm looking at it. I was like, oh my God, this is organs. This is from Bison. And as you guys know, I have not been eating meat. And it's because I haven't been able to find anything that is ethically sourced and that is clean. And all of a sudden this lands on my fucking lap, and I'm looking at the back of it, and it's like 777. And it's like the universe is like, hey, bitch, you need some meat in your fucking body.
You need some organs now.
Yeah. So I'm like, screw all of my old thinking, because I need more balance in my life. And I started taking it.
And how have you felt since taking it?
So I want to back up 1 second before you ask that question. Right away, when you and your mom and dad were on the show, you melted Tiffany in my heart. So Tiffany's Indigenous background and your dad sharing all about him and his heart was just, you guys are so much more than any kind of brand. It's just heart coherence. It's love. And it's so beautiful what you guys are doing as a family unit. Yes. And was there something else that I wanted to say with that?
Can I tell my story?
Yeah, you can.
Yes, absolutely.
Please.
Thanks.
We're so excited. We're like losing our minds.
Well, in the VIP, the business conference part, well, the whole thing was a business conference, but the VIP, we were talking more business stuff. Yeah. And there's a shop that we had access to. And I saw your product and I was like, fuck, this is awesome.
Yes.
I'm like, okay, I already knew I was going to get it. Like it was like an innate knowing. Just everything about it. So, and we hadn't even heard your story yet. So then when you guys went up and said your story and talking about the sacred, what you guys do to get this going and just so much behind it.
Yeah.
I knew right away. I was like, this is it. And when you guys were doing a draw, I was like, I'm going to fucking win this. I'm going to fucking win this. But Kristen and I, she's my twin flame. I don't know.
So she had to win it, hey?
Can we just clarify? Tiffany always does this. She says this type of stuff and people ask, you're like, are you guys together?
I thought I'm not sure. I thought that at first because you guys are so connected and so aligned and you kept calling each other babes. And at the time I didn't know that your show was Raw Babes. So I was like, this makes sense. They must be together.
Okay. And everybody know we're sisters. We're
sisters. I do say when we get in, like when we introduce each other, I'm like, this is my partner. And I don't realize that I'm sounding like we're lovers.
And I'm like, bitch, right. I'm single.
So when she got her name called, I was like, of course, bitch got them. Fucking
yeah.
We called this shit in. Like,
yeah.
Well, obviously she needed it though, and you already knew you were gonna get them. So
exactly. It always aligns the way it's supposed to. So can we go back to his question on how?
Can we do one last thing before we do the question?
Yeah.
Guys, we didn't say this. That the bison is grass-fed and finished bison organ nutraceuticals. I'd like for you to dive into a little bit more of the bison and how it's all processed and all that once we answer your question. We haven't even had you talk yet.
That's okay. We'll get to it. I got all the time in the world for you guys. So
thank you.
Thanks,
and
Tirone.
Yeah, same to you. We really love you and your family. You guys are fantastic.
Well, we love you guys too.
Oh, thank you.
And right away when I was like saying that you guys' company's naked, I'm like, there's so much that could be done with this
so much juicy juice.
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
Well, if you look back to Tiffany and my very first photo shoot, we were doing it naked. We were raw, just holding our goods.
So what's more natural? Right?
Well,
what's more natural?
And actually, when you did your little video, there's something about a naked man. It's just, there's so much comedy behind it. There's so much juicy juice behind it that like, I'm like, this is fucking gold.
I'm glad you guys liked it. That's good.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Right away.
Well, we got a pretty good sense of humor.
Okay. So here's the thing. To answer your question, how do we feel? So right away, I took it and then we went out and had a hot tub. And remember, we were with Kevin and his friend and we're in the hot tub. And I was like, I feel like I'm a fucking bison and I can do anything. And my heart is just so expansive that I'm like channeling the energy of this bison and I'm unstoppable. Then I took it to another level and I was like, what's the symbol and the spiritual meaning of a bison? And it symbolizes abundance, freedom, and strength. And I'm like, okay, this is all making so much fucking sense as to why I need to be eating the heart of a bison.
Did you know, just to add on to that, did you know that bison are the only animals on the planet that when there's a storm, they don't run away from it. They actually run into it.
Oh, I know. I didn't know that.
They're clever enough to know that the sooner they get in there and get it over with, then it's done. There's no point in hiding.
Ooh,
damn.
So I've seen a lot of footage of them huddled together, creating that heat blanket.
Yeah.
And just
a circle jerk, really.
Yeah. Basically.
They're awesome.
Yeah. So I didn't know that. That's cool.
I feel fantastic. Yeah. I just, Tiffany, I'm not feeling that, middle of the day where you're tired.
Yeah.
Guys, I just told Tiffany this too. This might be too much information, but I don't fucking care. My cycle, every second cycle has always been a bit of a challenge. And it's like my ovaries are like trying and there's a lot of old. And I said to Tiffany, I was like, it's bang on.
Yeah.
I'm just cycling like a motherfucker.
So we're going to get a little detail because when we talk about old, like period blood, sorry, Bison.
I have a wife. And baby.
Yeah. I know we did this. Okay. So in certain cycles, old blood comes when it does come out. It's like dark and like kind of brown. We're like
and flaky and old.
Yeah. Like there's like tissue and stuff in it. But then when we're flowing and everything's working cohesively, it's nice and bright.
Yeah.
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 And
so that's like healthy blood. Like that's a healthy period right there.
Yeah.
So thank you for holding space for that.
Yeah. Thank you.
Of course. It's normal. It's natural.
It is. It's a beautiful thing. It's a cycle every month. And I'm just so grateful that things are flowing. So that's another thing I'm noticing. I've noticed a difference in even food. I don't know how to really describe it, but I feel very content and energized. And I think I had so much energy too. I was like, I need to sleep. I was definitely just like so amped up. And I don't drink coffee at all. Like that is definitely a no-no for me. So that's from my end thus far. TT.
Very cool.
Yeah. So me, I train a lot. So you and you do a lot of like interval training, right?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. And over the years of just lifting heavy, I can get random aches and pains. And for the last while, I have been off all supplements. Like I haven't been taking anything and just trying to, I like to live my life as intuitively as possible. And I just wasn't in alignment with, any supplements at that time. But as soon as I started as soon as I bought them, I took them and I noticed a significant difference right away in my recovery. So those random aches and pains in my joints were like, they just started dissipating. I did notice an increase of energy. I'm waking up like at a perfect time in the morning without feeling tired.
That's good.
Yeah. Like it's like 8:00, boom, I'm up.
Inflammation.
Yeah. Inflammation has decreased. I have been taking I've been getting more into my turmeric and my cayenne pepper and just things like that, getting a lot of Celtic salt, the right salts in my body. That's been a huge game changer, but encompassing that with the product, I don't normally notice things right away. But I had noticed a difference in the structure of my body since I've been taking.
Yeah. No, that's fantastic. I'm glad that you guys are feeling all those things. Those are probably the biggest feedback points that we get from most people, and especially a lot of women, right? Like through their cycles and menstruation and all that kind of stuff, mood regulation and not as crampy or bloated and energy's better. So that's really cool that you're noticing that too. And the thing that I always refer that back to is your body's like a Ferrari. Like it is the highest end. It is a fine-tuned machine. Would you go to the gas station and put regular fuel in that?
Fuck no.
Absolutely not, right? You would put premium fuel into a premium vehicle.
Yeah.
Because when you don't, then you start to gum that up. Things get slow, you get aches, you get pains, things break down, right? And that's what we don't want. And what we're trying to do is just getting back to ancestral ways of eating in a modern world, right? Because we got to blend the two. We live in 2023, right? We can't do everything ancestral. So this is a way for people to get it. And I'm glad you're feeling those. That's awesome.
And go back on periods. I'm pretty regular. So I get my period right on the full moon. Yeah. And for the last few months, it's been like 2 days after the full moon or whatever. And I'm like, oh, what the fuck?
Get back on.
This cycle for me, I had 0 PMS symptoms, like 0.
Wow.
None.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking.
And we can talk about why that is too, if you want to.
Can we please? Because I usually get sore titties and nothing happens.
Sore boobs.
So this is one thing that we've really lost as humans, the way we eat, right? In fact, things have gone so fucking cattywampus these days that we think that eating whole foods is dieting. We say that's dieting. Like how messed is that? That's eating normal foods. So the interesting thing about foods is all foods have peptides, all foods on the planet. Organs are quite unique in the fact that the peptides found in there aren't found in any other foods on the planet. There's no crossover. They're very rare and unique to organs. And liver in particular has peptides that are extremely important for hormone regulation. again, especially for women, right? That's a big one. And even men these days, right? Like we're so low on testosterone, even women, right? We're not regulating hormones the way we would have way back when. So there are lots of peptides in there that will help with that. And then they also helps a lot with like hair, skin, and nail growth. So you'll notice that your mood's better, your mental cognition's better. You won't be as, like I said, cramping or bloated, and you'll just feel better, right? You're putting premium fuel into a premium engine again, right?
Write that down.
That's so fucking cool.
That's
like,
badass.
and I even talked about my last period on my story, and I never actually talk about it. But I was actually a little bit, I didn't actually correlate the supplements. I actually didn't know what the outcome would be from taking the supplements, but I had talked about there was just zero symptoms. And the only reason why I knew it was coming is because it was a full moon. That was it.
That's something that maybe you should dive into a bit for your audience, your female audience, because you're big into interval training and working out, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of research out there that talks about when you should not train on your cycles and all that kind of stuff. You should look into about how you fuel yourself during those cycles. Like, what do you need more? Do you need more carbs? Do you need more fats? Do you need more? Because if you're feeling good on this and you can still train through your cycles and you can still like have an effective workout, and that's amazing. You could talk about that kind of stuff with your audience, right?
You know, that's a really good idea. And that is something that I actually have not done because I don't know. I don't know why. I guess my mind is just focused on other things. Maybe my mind was not.
Yeah. And I feel like a lot of women just think that it's like when you're on your cycle that you should just not do anything and you shouldn't train. And I feel like that's not entirely true, right?
No,
like
I don't agree. Yeah, I agree with
you. You have to feel, because I'll tell you, there's times where I'm fine and I'll go to my Pilates class or I'll go and hit the weights. But then there's other times in the cycle where I have zero energy. And I'm like, if I go and do that, that's going to feel very depleting.
Exactly.
It's about listening to the body and not always pushing the body.
And this is it. And this is where the intuitive training comes in for me. So I don't always feel like pushing heavy weight. Like it just, there's certain times of the month where it's just like your body is just like, no. And that's when I listen to it. But this has been a different cycle, like especially since taking the product. I mean, I've been eating more protein, but not organs. And I've always had this thing with liver because like I grew up like poor. Like we had nothing. My mom was a single mom and food was coming from the food bank and she would cook us liver and I fucking hated it. And it was like, she was not a good cook.
Well, they're so hard to cook, right? Like organs in general, like again, unless you grew up loving it, which most people didn't, they're hard to find, like good, high quality sourced organs. They're hard to prepare and they're hard to cook right. And they just don't taste fantastic, right?
They don't. No.
So I get it.
Totally.
So something that it says, I got this from your guys's page.
Okay.
On Instagram, and it was about the CoQ10, and then of course you just shared about the peptide, and then maybe we can just dive into a little bit of what the nutraceutical is for people that don't know. And I have it here if you don't have it on the top of your head.
No, I got it. It's all locked in.
I was like, I think you will.
Yeah. So CoQ10, for our listeners that don't know what that is, coenzyme Q10 is an enzyme that's found in every single cell in the human body. Every single cell has CoQ10 in it. As we get older, we actually start to deplete CoQ10 and we don't have as much of it. Oftentimes, most people will think as I'm aging, my metabolism's slowing down. But that's not always the case. Sometimes it's just straight up the fact that you don't have enough CoQ10. And we don't eat enough foods that have that in it either. Now, heart is really interesting, whether you get that from beef or bison, it doesn't matter, is jam-packed full of CoQ10.
Wow.
You can get synthetic versions of the supplement, right? Just like anything, you could get a multivitamin that has CoQ10 or just a straight up CoQ10. I know I'm saying that a lot, but the difference is though, and I'll get into what it does here in a second. The difference is if you go to a synthetic version of any supplement, like ours versus a name brand that you go and get at Shoppers Drug Mart, is ours is in a bioavailable form. So that means that those nutrients are already in a usable state. So the body doesn't have to do any conversion process. right? It can just take those nutrients and it's in your bloodstream, you're ready to go. Now with a synthetic supplement, it actually has to take those, convert that, and in that conversion process, which is why you usually get really fluorescent yellow stinky pee, you're pissing it all out. And you only actually absorb about 16% of what's advertised on a bottle, is about a rule of thumb. So with ours, it's when we say that there's CoQ10 in there, you're getting it all, like right now. And CoQ10 is really interesting because it's actually important for energy metabolism. So it's actually used to convert food into energy. So one of the reasons that you're probably feeling so nice and stable throughout the day and you're not getting that 3 o'clock crash, right? And you're waking up feeling good is because you're actually getting ample amounts of CoQ10 in your system now, right? And then so our nutraceuticals, I kind of already touched on the bioavailability. That's the whole reason we started this is if you look at synthetic supplements in big pharma, their whole premise is not to actually get to the root cause or the solution to why you're feeling that way, right? For example, like if I talk about you have a headache, well, that's a light that's going off in your body. And pharmaceuticals have their place in the world for sure, but they're really good at just unplugging lights, and that's it, right? No difference than if I were to drive my truck right now and my check engine light came on, my first instinct is definitely not to unplug that light and forget about it. It's probably like, holy crap, what's happening? I need to go diagnose this and figure it out because, you know, this is my reliable vehicle I need to get A to B with. And our bodies are no different, right? So why are we taking supplements or big pharmaceuticals that are just unplugging lights? So we wanted to be the exact opposite of that and offer solutions to people that actually got to the root cause of issues. And that all kind of really starts with bioavailable, super nutrient dense nutraceuticals, food. So at the end of the day, they're just a whole food supplement. There's nothing added in. We don't put any bullshit in there. There's no fillers. There's no crap. It's straight from the animal in a bioavailable form. Just like the Native Americans and many tribes around the world did forever, right? They knew that like healed like and like attract like. If they had liver issues, they ate the liver. If they had heart issues, they ate the heart. If they had mental issues, they ate the brain, right? And they're supporting cofactors and enzymes in all of those organs to heal the correlated organ.
Wow.
So that's our nutraceuticals in a nutshell and why we do what we do.
Wow.
That's fucking awesome.
Badass. Quickly, let's touch base on your packaging and then the capsule, because the capsule is something that you've had lots of questions about.
Yes. So when we originally launched the company, we made the decision to put it in a plastic bottle, and we knew that wasn't going to be for long. Our whole premise, the whole brand is based around being naked and pure and raw and natural.
Raw babes.
Exactly. Raw babes. So, and we knew like, if you guys are like me and you can go down this nerdy rabbit hole of, well, BPAs and microplastics and how estrogenic those things are to the human body, which is really bad. We wanted to get away from that quick, but we couldn't find a package that really worked for us that didn't have any of those in it. Eventually, we did land on these guys, which is why we actually went away from a bottle altogether and went to just craft paper. So there's no BPAs, there's no microplastics in there. You don't have to worry about any estrogenic properties, which is bad for women and men. We all have way too much estrogen right now. So that's the reason why we went to this. And we just kept it as plain and natural as possible. Brown paper bag with our logo, with just the bare minimum information on there. And we're just trying to keep things really clean. The other thing that we get a lot of questions about, we use a bovine gelatin capsule. And again, we do that because a lot easier on the gut to absorb. It's in a bioavailable form. And at the end of the day, it's just good for you, right? Like it's just full of collagen. That's basically it. We do have the tops of our capsules, they're white. And some people get a little worried about that because obviously that means there's some coloring or something in there, right? That's not natural. But we use calcium to color them. Well, the ones we source are calcium. You can, in fact, get titanium dioxide, I think is the other that you can use, which is not good. You can use that to color your capsules, but we've opted for that. And the reason we do that is in our manufacturing process, because our family does it all ourselves, the capsules are so hard to see in the machine, and we can't see those capsules and situate them the right way without a little bit of color in there. So in the future, we could definitely move back to a complete clear capsule, but if anybody's worried about it, don't be. It's just calcium.
Cool.
Very good to know. And it's also nice to know that you guys are open to accommodating certain people, right?
Absolutely.
The
And
vegetable capsule.
yeah, and we get questions from people all the time about like doing a particular organ because they have needs, or like you guys, you want a vegetarian capsule. We can start to offer those things in the future as we ramp up, and we want to listen to our consumers, right? Like they know what they want. And that was a big lesson that I learned. I worked for some really big CPG companies throughout my career, so consumer packaged goods. And that was my biggest pet peeve is the market and our consumers would scream and scream and scream for something. And we always thought we knew better. We wouldn't listen, right? And then they would wonder, well, why aren't we selling, or why is market share going away? Well, because they've been telling you what they want. We haven't done anything about it. So we don't want to do that here. We really do want to listen to consumers and to their needs and what they want, right? Everybody's different and unique. No one's the same. So why would we make one size fits all for everything?
I know.
Truth.
Right?
So how old is your company?
Yes.
Great question. So this took me probably 2.5 years to plan. So I actually had to put together the business plan, find all of the machinery, the manufacturing processes, everything that went into that, finding the funds. That was a really lengthy process. But as far as how long the company has been live, we only launched in June 1, so about 4 months old.
What? You're less than infantile.
Yes.
You're not even born yet. No, I'm just kidding.
Exactly.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Tirone.
So Tirone, I just want to bring light to your career and how that set you up.
Yeah, let's hear your story. Fuck.
Yeah, this is really interesting because you said that you were pretty much in the industry already.
Yeah. Well, I'll take you all the way back to the beginning. So I originally went to school to be a medic, and then I did my exercise science and biomechanics at the same time. And I also played on scholarship volleyball for the college at the same time. So I was
volleyball.
Like oh my God.
That was a fly. I told you they're in here.
That was fucking cool.
That's so
Thanks,
dope.
Fly. He just wants to be part of the show.
Dude.
So originally went to school to be a medic, and I hated it. I knew I wanted to help people, and I was always like very involved in health and fitness and was very active. And, my mom was a nurse. We have lots of dentists and doctors in the family. So, I thought that was the route for me. And my whole career, when I started out as a medic, was just pumping people that had overdosed full of glucagon and waking them up, or taking them to the hospital and dropping them off. And I was just like, this is not how I help. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry.
Hey,
the flies this year they've been insane.
It's the energy.
They're everywhere.
It's all good.
So I learned real quick, like this wasn't the route for me. And then eventually I got into business and business development sales very early on, right after that, and ended up landing in a gig with Canopy Growth Corporation. So they're a $6 billion CPG company. So they do a lot of cannabis throughout Canada, and then they own brands like BioSteel. So I worked in commercial development for them. So I learned a lot about branding and marketing and basically launching new products and all that kind of stuff. And soon after that, I actually got let go from that job. 4,000 of us got canned all at the same time due to a company restructure.
What?
And that was like a big, yeah.
Wow.
That was a big eye opener to me, because I realized that with these big corporations, no matter how hard you work, you're just a number to them at the end of the day.
That's right.
And it had really cheesed me off, because I was actually working 2 roles for the company. So I worked as a territory manager and managed hundreds of cannabis stores across Alberta. And then I also worked at commercial development for the company. So I was kind of like a mediator between all of the different facets of the company, helping basically key accounts talk to the salespeople, and brand talk to category management, and creating kind of cohesiveness between them all. So I worked in 2 roles for about 6 months straight on one salary, just busting my ass, thinking, I was working my way to the top, and then they just canned us all. So one thing led to another, and I think it all was kind of meant to be, because I ended up going to a engineering firm, and I worked for an engineering firm that they help with automation in the food processing industry.
Wow.
So they do a lot of custom manufacturing and integration of these big pieces of equipment, and they work with companies like McCain's and Cargill and Pepsi and Coke and Frito-Lay. So I got all this experience learning how to do manufacturing and automation. So and to be honest with you, I hated that job. I hated it so bad. The people drained the energy from me. They were not kind. They were unhealthy. They were unhappy. It was not a place to be, but for some reason, I just knew that I needed to be there for a while and I needed to learn some things. And sure enough, while I was still working there, I was in the planning phase of Naked Organs, right? My mom was working full time still as a nurse, and she was getting pretty burnt out. And I was like, why am I not just doing something for myself?
Yeah.
So I took my experience from CPG and branding and marketing, and I took my experience from the engineering firm with manufacturing automation and put them together. And lo and behold, we started Naked Organs.
Fuck yeah, buddy.
The universe was just redirecting you and putting you in the perfect place at the perfect
It really was. It feels that way.
You were just going through school.
Yeah, things have just like lined up so well for this not to feel right and what I'm supposed to be doing, right? And like the fact that I just felt like I had to go to MYM and I just felt like I had to bring my whole family along because they needed to be a part of that.
How did you know about it? How did you know about MIM?
Yeah, so funny story. So I was working with a lady that wanted to wholesale our products that was following Sarah Swain at the time. And we just started chatting on our Instagram page, and she was like, "Have you heard about the MYM?" And I was like, "No, I haven't." And so she sent me Sarah Swain's page, and I started following her and following along with what she was saying about kind of like what you guys do, right? Being raw and open and not worrying about people and leading your business from your heart and all these kind of things. So I started consuming her content, and then I was just like, "Fuck, I need to go to this conference. Like, I have to go." So on the day they opened ticket sales, I bought enough tickets for everyone. I didn't even ask my parents if they were good to go. I just said, "You're going."
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And then one thing led to another, and then we met you guys there.
So it's so cool because conferences like that are so important for especially entrepreneurs. It's just like, and the fact that, like, I don't know, I've been to a lot of conferences and this one was by far like the most impactful that I've ever been to.
Oh, yeah.
The conferences, because like people usually show up stuffy and already prejudging not only themselves but everybody else around them, and having to just put this shield on and just pretend to be somebody else. Where this one, it was like, here I fucking am, like
take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it. Like,
yeah. And that's what I loved about it. It felt so good, right?
Yeah.
To like not hide myself at all.
Yeah.
Just be you.
Right. Yeah. I never showed up in a suit and tie like regular business conferences. Like, that's not me at all. I don't want to be that way. Right. So it was awesome. I feel you.
Yeah.
So powerful.
So good. Okay.
Alignment.
So how did you get your product involved in MYM? How did that work out? That it was in the shop?
I was, again, I started messaging Sarah after I bought tickets because I had some questions, and it was like super early on. So they didn't have all the details planned out yet. Mm-hmm. And she literally just said, she's like, "Holy shit, I love what you're doing." And she was already aligned. Like, they're big hunters. They, they want to live that homesteady life. She's like, "Your products have to go in the shop." Yeah. Like, she didn't ask. She's like, "They have to go in." I was like, "Okay, how many should we put in?" Right. I was thinking of bringing like, it was ridiculous. I was thinking maybe bringing like 10 or 15 of each. Like, I thought it was going to be small. And she's like, "Oh, no. Like, you need to bring more." So we brought, I think it was close to 50 or 100 of each to the conference. And yeah, they've fucking sold through quick.
Yeah, quick. Because it's dope. I mean, I don't see products like this out.
That wasn't even the best part of it though, right? Like, honestly, that was just like a little icing on the cake for us, that we sold some products and made our money back to go to the conference. It was meeting everyone, like you guys, and the connections we made, right? Like, and just hearing how people run their business and learning from everyone. That was what it was all about for us.
Yeah.
It was worth every penny.
I agree. We met so many soul family. Like the fact that, you know, you're all the way in Alberta, we're here, and we meet at that exact time and I win these products. That was the only way the universe was going to get me to take something like this, because they're like, okay, we got to fucking give this chick some magic. So she's like, okay, I'll try it.
Good.
So grateful for winning and your product and what you guys are doing.
Thank you.
I think it would be a shame if you don't share a little bit of the back history from, you know, your mom's story a little bit with you and kind of how that transpired. I read a little bit about that, and your dad had shared, or stepdad had shared.
Yeah, so obviously our family's mixed. I'm not Indigenous by any means, but my father is and my sister is. So our story is, Susie's probably one of the toughest women you will ever meet. So my mom, she was married to my father for, I think, all of a year, and he was electrocuted and died. Basically 1 year on the dot while she was going through nursing school. She was actually in the middle of writing her finals, and she got a call that her husband had passed away. And actually, it wasn't even that he had passed away. I think when my mom tells it, she got a call that he was hurt and in the hospital.
Wow.
So she went and raced to go see him and found out he was dead. And then that same day, she found out she was pregnant with me.
What?
Yeah. And then that same weekend, that same week, she had to finish writing her finals.
Holy shit.
That she worked so hard to do. So like anybody that can go through all of that and still be stable and like be a good mom like she is and work her ass off is just like, wow. So I'm definitely a big mama's boy for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
So a lot of respect there, I'll say.
Yeah. So
yeah, we love you, Susie.
As soon as she wrote her finals, she packed me up and we moved to Hawaii with some family.
Wow.
And we lived there for a few years together. And then eventually she made her way home and met Sean and married Sean. And then they had Sloan together. So we're definitely a mixed bag. And, you know, we talk about family and the cohesiveness and the love that we have. It was not always easy.
Mm-hmm.
Right? There's some things we won't talk about on this podcast. They were very hard.
You don't have to. We all have an understanding on family dynamics.
Yeah.
But, it's not an easy ride always.
Yeah. But as like with any family, right, or any relationship, you learn, right? Mm-hmm. You learn how to grow together, hopefully, and not apart. Yeah. And my biggest thing that I've learned is, you know, the grass isn't greener on the other side. It's greenest where you water it. Ooh. And with Sean and I, it was, we weren't watering that grass for a while, so to speak, right? Fair. So, and I think as like a young kid or just as a person, it's hard to know what other people go through or what makes them do the things they do or what makes them tick, right? Because you can only see the world through your own experience and your own lens, right?
That's right.
So as I started to get older and start to understand Sean a little better, right? Then you start to go, holy crap, you know, how hard would that have been to be a man that came into a marriage with a woman that's already got a kid that she's super protective of, and now you can't parent that kid without worrying about what mom's going to think, right? So that causes a lot of tension. So it took us a long time to get where we are today. And part of the reason that we wanted to start this business is we all kind of have our own unique needs and wants with this business. And it kind of touches on all of them. Like for me, it was the health and fitness aspect and feeling like I'm actually doing something good in the world. For my mom, it was getting her out of nursing because she had a really hard time over COVID. She had a perfectly clean 30-year career as an ER nurse. And then she got put on disciplinary council with AHS for not wanting to get the jab right away, right? Because she's very sensitive to drugs and she's not okay with experimental stuff, right? And then for my dad, he's always really had a passion for his Indigenous roots and wanting to help with, you know, the local community here in Alberta. We have some problems here with the Indigenous communities, right? Like there's lots of drug use, lots of opioid use, lots of big issues that people just really aren't providing solutions for in the best of ways. Mm-hmm. So this kind of helped Sean to satisfy that need. It helped my mom to satisfy her need of getting out and doing something fun, and it helped satisfy my need. So it was just like everything just lined up. It made sense.
And so you're like 2.5 years of planning. Were you just sitting behind and like getting ideas? Can you walk us through that?
Yeah. I think the reason that it took so long is because there was a lot of hesitation of would it work? Am I the one to do it? Right. Um, Unfortunately, you grow up with a lot of family members and adults in your lives, and I'm sure you guys feel the same way too. A lot of people that have just lost the ability to dream and will shit on you for, wanting to do things different or wanting to create something for yourself. Right. You get all those people that want to tell you that though the 9 to 5 is what you need to do. You need to go get a stable job, right? So there's a lot of that. But my planning process really consisted of looking at the market and the brand, if there was a need for this, figuring out the manufacturing process, which was really hard, and the machinery that we needed, and then putting together a business plan of the products we wanted to offer and who we really wanted to be, right? Like, were we going to do beef or were we going to do bison? And then it made sense to do bison with Sean's Indigenous background, right? How were we going to manufacture these, right? That was a big one to us. Like, we want to be ethical about this and we want to do it in the right way. So, like, a prime example of that is you could dehydrate organs, which would be really, really fast. But in that process, you'd lose about 60% of the nutrients.
That's right.
And the whole point of this was, well, we want to offer a premium, high quality product. So we decided to go the route of freeze drying, which takes a really long time, like 50 hours per batch.
What?
That's dark.
But those are just the things that we weren't willing to sacrifice on, right? Like, if we're going to offer a premium product, then we need to do things right. So a lot of that planning went into place too, and just figuring all that stuff out. But yeah, there's a long road.
What was your thought though? Like, how did all of a sudden you think to do organs and to think of bison or beef? Like, what was the thought that came in about organs?
Well, I have Crohn's quite bad, and I've had it for years and years and years since I was a teenage boy, and I had tried everything under the sun. I had tried vegan diets, I had tried elimination diets, I had tried getting rid of dairy and flours and doing only almond milks and almond flour. If you name it, I have tried it, and nothing worked. Nothing. I was always very active and exercised a lot. So that was kind of a little bit of a saving grace. But I started to experiment with organ meats in particular. I fell upon a couple articles and some information online from a few doctors about a carnivore type diet and experimented with that. And it was actually one of the only things that alleviated my problem. I went from having a flare up probably every day, and it was so bad that it would look like I was cold. My hair would stand on end. It would look like I was shivering, but I was sweating in pain. So maybe I have one once a year if I'm not careful about how I'm eating and what I'm doing. And to me, it was just like, this may not be for everyone, but to me, it was like, holy shit, there's something here. Like, clearly I was missing something, and this has the ability to really do some good for people's gut health, making people feel healthy again, right? Maybe it's not a cure-all, but if it's just one tool that you can add to your toolkit on your health journey to make you feel better, then why not, right?
Wow.
So there was that thought process. That's why we went the route of organs, because I think this is something that people have just lost entirely and has a lot of merit to helping people just heal and get better. And then all our competitors were doing beef. Everyone was doing beef. And beef is a fantastic option. If people are consuming beef organs right now, keep doing it. Good for you. Super good. Don't stop. We decided to go bison for a couple of reasons. One, obviously, my dad being Indigenous, and made the most sense. His people lived off bison forever. Two, they're actually the original ruminant animal. So beef didn't make an appearance on the North American landscape until about the 1600s, but bison were always here. They were the first one. So there's that aspect. And the fact that we live in the prairies where 60 million of them once roamed and grazed here until, the government came and tried to subjugate the native people by killing them all.
That's so fucked.
And so that's one thing that we also get people asking about, well, haven't enough bison died, right? Like, why are you doing this? Yeah. One of the reasons we also chose bison is the company that we work with, Rangeland Bison and Elk, is working to reintroduce bison back into the grasslands. So they do lots of work not only harvesting them for ethical use, but also reintroducing them back into the prairies where they belong.
Yeah.
And that really kind of was awesome for us. And the verbiage that they used when we were approaching them about their bison, most big producers talk about slaughtering or killing. When you talk to rangeland about how they deal with their animals, they talk about harvesting. And that's the same thing that indigenous people and other cultures around the world did, right? They didn't slaughter or kill, they hunted and harvested, right? That was sacred to them. And they used every single part of that animal. And that's the same thing that rangeland does. They use every single part of that animal. So it's just like, it was like, no brainer. We were doing bison, right? 100%.
I'm so glad you did.
Were we recording when you shared what bison do? Like the spiritual aspect of it? I don't think we were.
I said it. But what he had said.
Yeah.
He said you wanted to know something deeper.
Oh, about bison.
After I said they symbolize.
Can you repeat that?
The neat thing about bison too is they're actually one of the only animals in the world that if there's a thunderstorm or a big storm of any kind, they actually don't hide from it. They run into it. They're quite they're really weird, beautiful, majestic creatures. And they just have this mentality of, you run into the face of fear and you face it head on and you don't hide from it because it's going to find you. So just go in and get it over with, right?
Yeah.
Face it.
Yeah, they're very cool animals. Very cool.
And spiritually, this is what Kristen and I teach a lot of, like, our community and just all the things that we do is the facing the fear.
Yeah, don't hide from it.
Don't hide from it. Feel the feelings. The feeling is in the healing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And just allowing your body to just acknowledge the feeling, because our subconscious doesn't give a shit about what the story is. It just wants you to acknowledge it. And as soon as you feel it in the body and face it, then that's what gets lifted off of you. And then you you peeled that part of the onion. Now you can move forward. Right.
Yeah, and then you're free.
Yeah.
Until the next one.
Until the next one.
Until the next one's like, hey, I was hiding in your shoulder for the last 17 years.
But the cool thing too is when the next one comes, you're better capable of handling that now, right? And it's easier every time, right? It's a learning thing, like anything, like learning
resilience.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
100%.
Like it's like that person driving in the car that has road rage. Every time you stop and you practice these emotions and feeling, eventually it's gone, because you're like, oh, why would I waste my time holding on to a burning hot coal that's burning me, angry of another human that I have no control over?
Yeah.
But yet I'm now putting myself in fight or flight and giving myself cancer and holding on to anger for what?
Yeah. You might have to help me with a bit on that one. I still get some road rage.
Okay. I will absolutely help you with that. This is my specialty. Anytime.
Hey, there's a lot of idiots out there. Okay. Let's just be honest.
And there's a lot to work on yourself, right? It's hard to do it all sometimes.
Yeah. It's never ending. This is Earth School for a reason.
Yeah.
Tyrone, we're on Earth School. This is it.
Well, don't get me started. I could take you down a rabbit hole on all that stuff too.
Oh, shit. Are we going to nerd out?
We'd love to nerd out anytime.
It's totally your guys' choice.
Oh, I do have a question.
Yeah.
So what's your recommendation? Tiffany and I were talking about this. Each capsule is 500 milligrams. And how much are we supposed to be taking per day?
So again, totally depends on what you're after. Again, everybody's super unique. So like, let's say, for example, you're only taking one of each product. We have a recommended serving size of 6 capsules, and that's based on 1 ounce of organ meats that you're getting per day. So not a ton. And that's the reason why we have 6 capsules, whereas most supplements, you'll see there's like 1 or 2. We're really trying to get at least 1 ounce of organs in you per day.
Okay. I need to up my ante.
I recommend people take that all at once, first thing in the morning. So usually I wake up in the morning. It doesn't matter. You can take it with food, without food. It's not going to hurt you either way. And I take all 6 together. We do have some people like Susie. She likes to take 3 in the morning and 3 in the afternoon. You can totally play with that. If you're going to stack products, you can take 3 of each. Okay. And that'll help you out a little bit. For example, like for you, Tiff, I would say taking 6 of the heart and 6 of the liver is probably best for you, because
that's what I've been doing. Actually, I've been doing 5, but What's one more?
The trifecta, because you need to have the liver. He's saying liver.
And then so the trifecta is a bit unique because obviously it's a 1/3 blend. So you're getting a smaller dose of each one.
Yeah.
But that really is kind of more for general population, people that are like, they need a boost, they need a little bit of everything. They're not super active or super healthy. Or maybe they have seasonal allergies because the kidney in there is a natural histamine support.
Didn't know that.
What?
Yeah, full of doubt.
Honestly?
Yeah, so the kidney is kind of unique. I guess I should touch on that quick. So the kidney,
yes,
please.
My husband suffers greatly with seasonal.
Allergies.
Oh fuck!
Okay.
Oh yeah.
So it's full of DAO or DAO, which is a natural histamine support. So it won't get rid of your allergies altogether, but it will help you reduce the symptoms severely. Sean he's got terrible hay fever. He's super allergic to horses, cats, and dogs, and he can actually manage it when he's on the trifecta. And then the kidney's actually full of natural electrolytes. So you get your magnesium, your potassium, your sodium is all already in there for you. So like for me, for example, my go-to is I take all three together and I just take 3 from each one.
Okay.
And then that kind of gives me a full dose of each. And I take them all at the same time, first thing in the morning to start my day. And then I don't have to worry about it.
So you just take 9, total 9.
Yeah. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. I'm so excited. Okay. I'm definitely upping.
Yes.
I'm ready.
Yeah. So if people want to stack all 3, totally take 2 or 3 of them. And then your bag will last anywhere from 2 to 3 months too.
Yeah. Because there's 180 capsules in each bag. And let's just touch on the price because you have a fantastic price.
Yeah.
Point. This is
thank you.
We absolutely love. So your range is I wrote it down.
$43.99 to $48.99.
Thank you.
There's the 4-3.
Yeah. So that was a big part of my business planning when I came into this business. And an issue that I saw in this industry is it seemed like these companies were purposely making this crazy overpriced for consumers and really inaccessible to people that might be on a lower income bracket. And to me, that was a shame, right? Like, they're not crazy expensive. Organs aren't crazy expensive. Yes, there's a lot of time and labor and energy that goes into manufacturing them properly. But like, if you look at Heart and Soil or some of our other competitors, like the cheapest bottle you could get was $60 US. And then obviously at $1.40, and then you do your shipping to Canada, it was just outrageous, right? And we have other competitors that, their cheapest was $55 to $60 for a bottle. And they
how many in a bottle typically?
It's the same. They're all the same. So 6 capsules and 180 in total.
Okay.
And to me, that was just like, holy shit. The whole point of this is to like get people healthy, but why are we breaking people's banks to do it?
You got it.
Obviously, we still need to make some money and put food on the table and clothe our own families. So, but I didn't want to do it for that kind of price point. So our liver is $43.99, our trifecta is $46.99, and our heart is $48.99. And the reason that the heart is a bit more is we have to pay a premium for that. The supplier that we work with, they consider that a protein, not an organ. So it's a little bit more sought after. But yeah, that's the reason that we decided to try and bring those prices down for people. And we always have sales or something running. So nobody usually ever ends up paying full price. Like if you subscribe, you save 20%. We have a 20% sale going on. And we try to always keep it discounted for people as much as we can. So,
the organs, they don't have protein in them?
No, it's just how our producers classify them. So they'll classify organs as organs, but for some reason they consider the heart like a protein, like a cut of meat, just like a steak or anything else.
As a muscle.
And not as an organ for some reason. So we have to pay a little bit more for that. So unfortunately, we have to funnel those costs down.
So the other organs do have proteins in them?
Yes, they are all full of super pure protein in there. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Perfect.
That's amazing.
Fuck yeah.
This is very exciting.
I love it.
So glad that I won.
Yeah. And then they can replace a lot of household items too. So that was another reason, part of the business plan was, what are people buying or supplementing with? And this can kind of help you get rid of BCAAs. You can stop taking those. If you're taking a multivitamin, you can get rid of it. If you're taking an iron supplement, you can get rid of it. If you're taking an allergy med, you can get rid of it. If you're taking a protein powder, you technically don't need to be on it. You can get rid of it.
Protein powders don't even get me started.
And they're so full of fillers and shit in there, right? That are hard on the stomach.
Terrible.
So this is a way that you can kind of, if you're taking coenzyme Q10, you can get rid of it. This was a way to filter out a whole bunch of household products that people are taking or supplementing and just taking one. So now not only are you probably saving $200 or $300 a month in supplements, but now you're spending $43.99 for a month, right? So it just made sense.
Very smart.
It's so cool, like to be able to have the option of staying whole food and like veering away from the synthetic stuff, because we've been so conditioned to think that that is healthy for us, that we need to supplement. Like we've been conditioned to think that we need to supplement everything,
which we don't.
Right? I mean, yeah. So this is
natural, whatever comes from Mother Earth.
Yeah.
That's what I've always
the unfortunate part now these days is that our vegetable crops have more chemicals in them than our animals.
And super depleted of copper, which ours, because they're all grass-fed and finished on natural prairie grass, no copper deficiencies in our products at all.
Wow.
In fact, for the women listening, because I'm sure your audience is all women, right? For the most part.
No, we actually have some men. Yeah,
so
we do.
A lot of women are actually using our liver in place of a prenatal. So women that are taking prenatals, the liver is a fantastic option for you. Or if you're trying to get pregnant, taking the liver to get all those nutrients in you, and even taking it while breastfeeding can help you feel energized and feel good, right? Because you're being depleted while you're breastfeeding as well.
That's so fucking interesting. I love it. Good. I love that. I know. I just feel so in alignment with it all, and it just makes sense.
It really does. And like you said, right? Like we've gotten to this weird state in the world where everything's synthetic right now. And there's so much that's unknown about synthetic supplements and processed foods and what that does to the body.
Well, take a look around.
Yeah, it's scary, right? Like men's testosterone levels aren't even 40% of what they were just 40 years ago. Right?
And mix that with demasculating men.
Exactly.
At the same time. Well, that's going to hold a lot of confusion.
Big time.
You can't even think straight.
No, you definitely can't.
No. My husband, him and I were both, just kind of misguided. We didn't really have a lot of guidance growing up, and he hunted for the first time he just came back yesterday.
Cool.
And he's a very capable man. He just never got taught that kind of stuff. And when he came home, he felt like a fucking man. He was like, I'm like, come here, man.
Well, just like Kristen felt like a bison when she took the supplement, right? It makes sense.
It just came from his roots. He's just like felt so in alignment with that he's like, I'm like, you need to do this again. Like you can't. More of it. I'm like, this is the season. Oh, fuck yeah. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. Not that I don't want to see him, but it's just
be a man.
He's going into his roots. Like he's celebrating the challenge of it all, really. And I mean, he's in the infantile stages of it. So he's got a lot to learn, but just what it did to his soul was very hot.
That's awesome. Good.
Well, I'm happy for you both. I'm sure it was a lot of passion.
His libido is going to go through the roof.
Yeah. Dang. I have all my supplements and easy to reach. Yeah.
I gave one of, because of course I want to share the trifecta to my dad. And he's just all over it. He is just thrilled.
Yeah.
Good.
So excited. We are pumped about this product and you guys and all the things, like I said. Is there any more questions? Do you have anything coming to our brains? Is there anything else that people need to know? I don't want to miss anything. There's just too many juicy juice.
No, not necessarily. So if for anybody listening, like we only have the 3 main products right now for people, right?
4.
And then we have the pet food supplement.
Can you talk about that real quick? What is?
Yeah, so the pet food supplement is basically a combination of heart, liver, kidney, and testicle from the bison. Yeah. And then we are going to be launching basically a testosterone support here in the near future for men and for women. Women could definitely be taking it.
Yeah.
We did, I wouldn't say clinical trials. We did a little bit of a trial with our testosterone supplement. I had probably a dozen men do blood work before and after taking our supplement, and had them test their total and free floating testosterone. And so far, the smallest increase in testosterone has been 21% from a natural source.
Wow.
So, yeah, and that's a big one.
That is
a big one.
Wow.
And then obviously we want to launch some women specific stuff as well. Right. Yeah. So we need to do a little bit of experimentation with like the ovaries and adrenals and all sorts of other different things. So we want to see what happens with that as well here. But we have plans to expand in all sorts of different things.
Tirone, you guys are so new. There's so much room for growth.
It's a lot.
If you put everything on the table, like I don't know, like
we'll be run thin.
That's right.
I have so many ideas. Like, so if you ask Tiffany, I've been a supplement hoe, like all to do with Mother Earth, though, not synthetic. Cool. Everything is from the herbs from here. And I have so many things that I'm like, oh my gosh, you need to do this, all these things, because that's all that I do is everything from the inside out and for beauty. Because who doesn't want to stay youthful and young and fit and help with weight loss? And that's like everything that I embody. So,
Well, hormone balancing is the main key component to all of this. And a lot of the foods that we're consuming disimbalances our hormones. And it makes our minds not act in alignment. So we get squirrely, we get depression, we get anxiety. And it's like these things come on without any rhyme or reason. Even if you're doing your spiritual work, even if you are doing therapy and peeling back the onion, we get into this mindset of like this victimhood. And it's not because always of our trauma. It's because of a lack of nutrition in the brain. So
because we're all fucked up, right? From what we eat.
Well,
so I'll pitch this one to you guys. What do you think of this? This is something we've been mulling over. We do want to do a protein powder.
Okay.
But I want to do a protein powder that's a mixture of bison meat, organs, and I want to do colostrum in there as well.
Ooh.
So you get all 3 in one. But it'd be very tricky to do so that it tasted good and it wasn't like all grainy and gummy when you put liquid in it.
Yeah. And that's why all these protein powders have come so far, because that's what they kind of used to taste like back in the day. And now they're just full.
Yeah.
I'm on the other end. Like I drink green, like plant powders every morning, and it's nasty as fuck. And I drink celery juice. So I'm the type of person that if it's benefiting me, then I'm drinking it regardless of the taste.
I'm just like you on that aspect.
I agree. Yeah.
But I feel like the majority of people wouldn't do it unless it didn't taste awful.
Yeah, but is that the people that you're calling in?
True. Good point.
We're just trying to appease.
Very good point.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like I can just, my mind's going again. I'm not going to say it online or on camera, but I just have I've got the answer. I'm not saying it now.
Say it.
Say it.
I'm not saying it.
You can tell me later.
Okay. No, this is exactly what people always tell me. They're like, Kristen, it's like you have these incredible ideas and you're giving away hundreds of dollars of bills. I'm going to keep it inside for right now. Then we'll talk and then launch something magical.
As long as we're a part of it. Okay.
Okay. Of course. It's about sharing and it's about team and collaboration.
Yeah.
There's so many things.
Okay.
This is exciting. Okay. Is there anything else before I want to pull a card for you and also for the collective? If Tiffany wants to pull one out of the beautiful autumn sky deck.
Yeah, we could do that.
Congratulations. Also, I was going to say, this is what I was going to say. Obviously your testosterone and all this bison is working because baby number 2 is en route.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Second boy as well.
That's so awesome.
I'm actually really excited about that. So I grew up with a younger sister, so I know what the brother-sister dynamic's like, but I'm excited to see what two little boys are like together.
Oh,
I'm sure it's going to be wild, but it'll be fun.
Hey, boys are so fun. I have a son and a daughter too, but my son is like a lot like her son. He's older now. He's 18, but they're just like, just so full of energy, and they're just like little animals.
Boys.
I fucking love it.
Yeah, it's great.
Okay, so congratulations on that. Before we start wrapping things up here, do you have a message that, I know you've shared so much already, but anything that you can share with the world, if the world was listening, what piece of advice or a download that you would have for everybody?
Sure. I'll give you this one little phrase. Again, I need to figure out who said this because I need to give them credit. And this has just stuck with me for the last few years now. And I said it on my last podcast, so I'm going to say it on this one. Okay. For those that are listening, do the best with what you know. When you know better, do better.
Ooh, that's good. I like that.
So true.
The thing about that's really cool is it falls into every aspect of your life, whether it's spiritual, whether it's in a relationship, or whether it's nutrition, right? Yeah. We're always changing. We're always learning new things. And you can't always get it right. Like, we're going to fuck some shit up. We're going to mess up. We're going to hurt one another, right? When you know better, do better. Yeah. Right? It's that easy.
It is that easy. I agree.
Love it.
Yeah.
Great piece of advice. Thank you.
It's great. Okay, let's get a card.
You know what? You remember?
I'm nervous.
Are you nervous? Okay. Yeah. Welcome that feeling.
Yeah. This is this is a common thing when people merge themselves into more the spiritual aspect, because people feel like their skeletons are going to get brought forward and revealed.
Absolutely.
Just know that our shadows we're meant to be masters at them, and there's nothing to hide, and we all have them. Yeah. So we're not here to reveal your skeletons in the closet. Not at all. This is only, when we do things like this, it's only things that you need to hear and things for your highest good.
I love it.
And
not the land-based. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. And it's where this is coming from.
Or bison-based you.
Oh my God.
Well, I'm very spiritual, so I'm not worried about that.
No. Okay. No. And it's always nice to know what your loved ones, guides want to say. And it's a way to give them an actual tool and a voice here on the physical world. And a lot of the times we get signs and symbols and connections, but this is a way to use words, and that's our language. So
very cool.
I let the cards fall out. So whatever's in your highest and best good, and whatever needs to come through to communicate with you, to allow it to just effortlessly fall out of the deck.
I'm into it.
Big Daddy Dick.
For Tirone.
Do you want me to do the autumn sky ones too? Oh, you got two. Ooh.
Okay. Let's see. Oh my God. You can't make this fucking up, you guys. Let the animals on earth support you. Feel their unconditional love. Like,
holy shit.
Wow.
You didn't plan that, did you?
You watched it fall.
I just watched it live.
Number 41. I'm going to read it to you after, okay? But this is that energy from the animals, from bison, from all that you're creating, and that permission to know that you're doing a good thing and that you're helping serve humanity in such a beautiful way and raise the vibration and to help people from your heart coherence.
Very cool.
Wow. And the second one is listen to your inner voice as we try to guide you. Use your intuition. This is card number 21. I always add them. 2 + 1 is 3. And it's crazy because that's
in alignment with all.
Oh my gosh. Okay. And what's coming through is your body is your sacred vessel, and it's going to be able to signal you when something isn't right. And just because something looks shiny or very appealing, it doesn't always mean that that's what it will be. And really sit and get quiet to find out what is right for you, opposed to other things in the external. It's all about you. You'll always know the answer, and you'll get guided by signs and symbols to know the answer. The first one I'm going to read is 41. And it is, this is so good. Reach out to a waggy dog, a slinky cat, or a vibrant and powerful horse. Animals bring you the right energy for your mental space today. Your loved ones ask that you talk to an animal, a bird, or a fish, or connect with them mentally. If you can, look them in the eye. Feel your heart touch a creature of nature, and you will feel the love of the animals reach back to you. Your loved ones remind you, all God's creatures carry our love. They are a gift to us.
Very cool.
And the next one. And like, of course, whenever I get that, like for you right away, it was just all to do with your business and how in alignment it is.
It absolutely was. That's cool.
Okay, 21. You have a natural psychic ability that helps you to make great decisions. You can feel when something is wrong or right. Your body brings you signals deep inside. When you have to make choices, ask yourself, is this right? You will feel your answer. Your loved ones say, we will help you to connect to your own natural intuition.
That one I've known for a long time.
Yeah.
I was sensing that. Okay, we got a couple on this one. So this is actually really cool. This is the autumn collective? Sky. Well, this is more for Tirone. Yeah. Cool. Equanimity.
Equanimity.
No,
equanimity. It's not easy. It's not easy.
Okay.
I'm not even going to attempt to say it.
I'm illiterate sometimes. Balance your emotions, avoid polarizing beliefs, be willing to change your mind, cultivate inner peace and neutrality, seek new perspectives to deepen understanding, and stay compassionate. Ooh. I think we touched on a lot of that. And then there was a second one. So it's man holding.
Whoa, look at his actual man.
Wow.
Man. Strength, be steadfast in your heart. There's power in tenderness. Hold space for healing and growth. Be a safe haven for others in need. Stand for what you believe in. Be willing to yield and adapt. Stay strong.
Love it.
I think
it's amazing.
That's so beautiful. There you go. That's how it works.
Very cool.
How do they land for you?
Good. I'll be totally honest with you guys. I've been very spiritual for a long time. So most people will look at me and they think that there's just this rough and tough exterior, but I have read through the King James version of the Bible probably 9 times in my life. I've studied most religions, most spirituality. I am a big believer that we signed a contract before we came here.
You got it. You believe that
I believe that we were sent here with our trials, our tribulations, our issues that we have to figure out. Mm-hmm. And the people that are in our lives, the people we meet, relationships we have, we signed a contract to meet with them all because they all have something to teach us and we have something to teach them. Now, how many times you interact with that person is based on what lessons you learned and if it was the right one, right?
Good job.
I love that. Thank you. We talk about this all the time. And we're on board with you on.
Are you?
Oh, yeah.
Usually I say that to people and they're like, a contract.
Come on.
It's the blueprint. We're born with amnesia, man. Like we have to relearn everything.
Why do you think I won this?
The veil, yeah.
This is our contract. It just started with MYM.
It was all part of it.
It was all part of the plan, 100%.
And only the right people showed up to that.
Yeah, 100%.
Who needed to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for answering the call.
It's such a pleasure.
Thank you guys.
Such a pleasure being on the show and holding space for us and our community. And everybody watching, you got to get on this. It's a no-brainer. No-brainer.
Duh.
And for people listening too, I do my best to manage all of our social media and website myself. So if people have questions and they want to message us on Instagram or on our website, I will answer those questions personally. So
fuck yeah.
And we'll put everything in the show notes, your website, your social media. It's at
just at Naked Organs.
Naked Organs.
Yeah. Careful what you're punching in on the internet.
Okay, I love that you're saying this because that happened with me and Tiffany. Raw babes.
Did you see the wrong? Oh.
Ooh, yeah, it's not pretty.
It wasn't pretty?
No.
Oh.
No, it was like,
I'm sure it was hot. No, but it was, yeah. Anyway, people were like, what the hell is raw babes anyways? I'm like, well, you'll have to wait and find out.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Well, thank you guys so much. Seriously, appreciate you having me on and asking questions and let me come chat with you guys.
Yeah. Fucking love you, buddy.
This is just the beginning.
You too.
Just the start.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Bye, everybody.
Thanks, guys.